This is Reverend Bill. It's Saturday, and it's the day after the Tyson Paul fight. So I'm going to give you my insight on all four fights. I wasn't aware there was going to be four fights, but yeah, they made a whole fight card out of it, which I didn't expect, but I'm glad they did. There's some interesting things there. Um, But first, I just want to tell you a quick story. Oh, by the way, when we get into the fights, there will be spoilers ahead. So, for those of you who do not know the outcomes, don't want to know the outcome, maybe plan to watch it, recording it, or something else, you might not want to listen to this because I will talk about the results. But first, I got kind of an interesting story. This morning, I decided to go out for a bit of a hike. In a place I've not been before. And the thing about going in a hike in a strange place, I always allow myself uh, the I guess the luxury of getting lost. I think part of when you find new trails is just trying to find a way around. And there was the long trail here. It was not a particularly difficult trail. I used to climb Mount Washington in New Hampshire every year. That was somewhat challenging. This was more, for I don't know, a relaxing walk. There was a couple of hills, nothing terrible. I decided to do I think a 2.5 mile trail. So I took a map. Well, I actually took a picture of the map on my phone and just headed out into a trail which was supposed to be a loop. And I figured out 2.5 miles, casual walk, maybe 15-minute miles. So should probably take me about, I don't know, 45 minutes to an hour tops. And, it was weird because other trails I've been, when you get a map and you see them crossing over other maps, you can see, okay, yeah, this is a, river trail. Great. Or Snake River Trail. Okay, yeah. That's where I am. This was weird because I was coming across trails that were intersecting it and they weren't on the map. I'm like, oh, that's very strange. And then I came across markers saying you are now at R37. So, I'm at R37, except there's no R37 markings on the map, so that's no help. So I was walking around, um, kind of following the blue trail the best I could, which was not marked very well, and to be honest with you. And at one point, it just seemed to end. There was a red trail that we went off to the left, and then the blue trail just seemed to disappear. Um, I did find on the map where it's supposed to be an intersection, but the blue was supposed to continue when the red was supposed to go off to the left. Now, I found the red off to the left, but the blue didn't seem to continue in any direction I could see. So I'm standing there trying to figure out. At this point, it's been like, I don't know, an hour and a half, and I just wanted to get home. And a gentleman with his boys, little boys, probably about 4 or 5, came down the red trail. And I said, hey, excuse me, could you guys tell me what's down there? Which maybe I should have put it a little clearer. And one of the boys goes, this really big spider like this. And I thought, oh, well, okay. I said, I'll make sure I give him a very wide berth if I go there. That doesn't sound like something I'd want to encounter. So maybe I should be a little clearer. I'm looking for a blue marker. And then the man said, oh, there's plenty of blue markers everywhere. Just, you go down there, cross the street, and, there'll be blue markers. Did he think I wanted to take it home with me and put it under my pillow? No, I wanted to find my way home. So at this point, I figured I'll just let them go and, not push anymore. I did not want just any blue marker. I wanted to find out how to get home. So I thanked them for letting me know um, where there were blue markers I could find. Anyway, I decided I'm a big advocate that any action is better than no action. So since I couldn't find the blue markers, I'll go to the red, and it all had a very good ending actually. The red sent me up this very steep hill, which I didn't appreciate, but at the top of it was actually a road which I recognized. It was only about a half a mile from my car, so I gave up the hike and just walked to the car on the road, and it wasn't bad. It ended up fine, but it was pretty hairy. At least now, next time I go there, I know what I'm doing more or less. Uh, so anyway, I just thought I'd mention that in passing. Okay, now on with the fight. So this is probably going to be a longer recording than I usually do. I apologize ahead of time. I just don't see the point in making two from it. I'll try to just make this as quickly as I can without leaving anything major off. Um, I'm used to watching boxing. I go way back to the early 70s. I watched, Ali Foreman and, actually Ali Quarry. I've been a boxing fan since the early 70s. And I'm used to really knowledgeable guys being commentators, like, I don't know, Gil Clancy, Freddie Pacheco, George Foreman, although more recently George Foreman, sure. Teddy Atlas, Bert Sugar, for those who remember Bert, used to chomp on a cigar. Very knowledgeable men. I mean, they grew up in the gym for the most part, watching all these boxers. I don't know why they had Rosie Perez, Cedric the Entertainer. They had the cowboy cheerleader. Don't get me wrong, okay? I love me a cowboy cheerleader, but they were treating this more like it was rocking New Year's Eve than a fight night. And I just didn't think Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders belonged there, or Cedric the Entertainer. And they actually had Rosie Perez as one of the experts. They evened it out a little bit. I think Roy Jones Jr. was there, and he actually, saved that whole mess. At one point in the fight, Rosie was saying that the first thing to go with a fighter is his power. No, that's not true, Rosie. Sit down. No, the last thing to go is the power. The first thing to go is your chin. When you get older and you get hit in the chin, your legs get wobbly. That's just a well-known fact for anyone who knows boxing. The last thing to go is the power. So Rosie needs to do her homework if she's going to be an expert. I just shook my head over that one. That's just wrong. Anyway, the opening fight was very boring. It was Goya, I guess, from India, was fighting a guy from Brazil, Nunes, I believe. Now, the problem with Nunes was his record was something like 2-2. Goya, his record was like 8-3, maybe. I don't really know. Neither one's a great fighter. Goya had a lot more experience. I mean, he at least knew what was going on. Nunez listed his professions as a comedian, an influencer. He's got like, I don't know, 1 million followers on something or other, a fighter, and a whole bunch of other things. And I looked at it and I just knew, fighting's not something you can get to do part-time. You've got to put your time in. And I knew that with a record with 2-2, he probably was not going to. He might do a lot of things. I doubt he does any of them well if he's spreading himself that thinly. And it kind of showed. He was completely embarrassed by Goya. Goya's not that good, but he was a lot better than Nunes. He at least knew what was going on. So that was it. And I think he actually won by a shutout. I don't think Nunes got one round in the whole thing. So that was kind of boring. Now the second fight, which was much more interesting, it was for the WBC welterweight championship, and it was the champion Barrios, who I think also was the featherweight champion, or I don't really remember, but I think he had a couple of titles versus Ramos. Barrios was 6 foot, and Ramos, I want to say 5'9". It was very entertaining. The first half of the fight, it was all Barrios. And then Ramos turned it around about halfway through the fight. And the second half of the fight was all Ramos. And I thought to myself, geez, if the Paul Tyson fight is half this entertaining, it would be awesome. Anyway, it did go to the distance. Most of the people thought that Barrios did enough to win, but he did get a very bad cut over his eye that Ramos was working on the second half of the fight. Personally, I thought Barrios probably should have gotten the decision, because I think he scored enough early in the fight before the cut got open that he should have eked it out. But actually, Ramos got the title. I didn't have a major problem with it. It was a very close fight, and it was very fun to watch. The next fight was also entertaining. It was Katie Taylor from Ireland fighting Amanda Serrano. And I guess they fought a couple of years ago. And Katie Taylor pulled out a split decision. And a lot of people thought Serrano won. So this is kind of like, a rematch to see if she really deserved to win. I'm not a big fan of watching women box. I haven't really watched a lot of bouts. If you want to call me sexist, that's fine. I just don't like seeing women beat on each other. But, I like to keep an open mind. So I sat down and I watched it. I always have to root for somebody. So I decided that, me being an Irish immigrant, and Katie Taylor was born in Ireland. I forget where, but she was born in Ireland. So I was going to root for her, I guess. I'm just one of those people, I got to pick a side. Doesn't really matter if I win or not, but I have to root for somebody. Anyway, the first fight was called the Fight of the Year by Sports Illustrated, and Event of the Year by the magazine The Ring. And again, I mentioned Taylor won with a split decision that was highly controversial. So the fight began, and it was nonstop action. They really were going at it toe to toe. One other thing too I want to mention, it's kind of strange, is that Serrano was 36 and Taylor was 38. Now for men, that's really old. And these women are supposed to be in their prime. So I'm not real familiar with women's boxing, but I'm just wondering if it's normal for women to hit their peak, heading into their 40s, when men are pretty much spent in their late 30s, with very, few exceptions. Anyway, so they went at it tooth and nail, and nonstop action, very entertaining, I'll have to admit. It went the distance. Everyone thought Serrano won. Katie Taylor got the decision. There was a headbutt that opened up a cut on Serrano's head, eye, just above her eye, I think. And anyway, there was some talk about it purposely headbutting Serrano, and there was, some words back and forth between the corners. But apparently, Katie Taylor did win the fight. Most people thought Serrano did enough to win. I was among them. I would have given it to Serrano. Um, yeah, it wasn't as close as, let's say, the other fight between Ramos and Barrios, but it was close. I don't know, but there was a lot of talk about, maybe the fix was in or something. I don't know. I don't know about that. But anyway, that was that. It was a good fight, a really really fun fight to watch. Then there was the last fight, which was Tyson and Paul. Now, Tyson looked like he was in relatively good shape. In the first round, he came out, Tyson, like a bull. He looked very good, looked like a little bit like the old Tyson. And I gave him that round solidly. But then in the second round, he came out and immediately, I did not like his legs. He was breathing out of his mouth. And he just looked gassed. He looked gassed. And the fight really never materialized much for Tyson after that. One of the guys who was scoring at ringside, who I really didn't agree with most of the time, he gave Tyson the second round. I didn't. But if you want to give Tyson the second round, go right ahead. But I didn't see him winning anything else after that. It was a very boring fight. Of all the fights that I saw last night, that probably was the worst. Although the first fight was pretty close. That was pretty miserable too. They were pretty much very equal. In fact, that there were just, one guy was just so outclassed. Tyson just doesn't have it anymore. Had he fought, Paul, I don't know, 40 years ago, he would have knocked him out within a round. But this is not the Mike Tyson of 1985, 1986. This is Mike Tyson at 58. So I don't know. There you have it. I hope he never fights again. He's obviously got nothing left in the tank. He did get $20 million for fighting, so hopefully that's going to last him the rest of his life. He'll invest well with that, and that's it. That's for what I saw for the fight night last night. I hope they do it again. They look like they're going to start turning into a regular TV station. At least that's what I got from it. Where they're going to do more sports, more TV shows. It looks to me like Netflix might be trying to change their format. So we'll see what happens there. They didn't say it, but that's just what I got from some of the commercials they were running, that they're trying to become a network rather than a streaming service. But maybe I'm wrong. Okay, guys. Well, look, thanks for your time. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't, thank you for your time. I will check in with you again. This is Bill Ryan, and thank you for listening. Have a great rest of the weekend. Bye.